Simba Jr. From a weak cub to the king of the savannah, an epic struggle. When we speak of wild animals that strike fear into human hearts, the lion immediately comes to mind, the king of the jungle, the most feared creature of all. But did you know that the life of this powerful animal, a symbol of strength and majesty, is in fact filled with hardship before he claws his way to his fearsome reputation? His life is truly an endless series of challenges and battles, a daily test of survival. From the very moment of birth, his journey begins in a merciless world, where each day is a new fight. For lions, childhood is far from innocent. It's a stage filled with danger. A young cub could be killed by cunning hyenas, trampled by herbivore herds without even realizing it, or perish from the unforgiving hunger. But the greatest threat might come from within his own family. If the mother sees him as weak, she may abandon or even kill him. And if a new dominant male invades his father's pride, that new leader won't hesitate to kill all the cubs that carry his predecessor's genes. Even if he survives this stage, adolescence is no less brutal. As a teenage cub, he will find himself without a pride, without territory, and without respect. He'll be chased away by older lions who see him as a potential threat, expelling him as if he were nothing more than an annoying intruder. But the trials don't end there. Lionesses, who might seem like allies, can be even more ruthless than the males. If he fails to prove that he's strong enough, they will ignore or even attack him as a group, as if to say, "Learn quickly how to be a real lion." And after years of running and endless suffering, the moment of truth arrives, a confrontation with the dominant lion he once fled from in a moment of weakness. This fight is everything. It will be fierce and brutal, and the young lion will put everything he has on the line. He might lose the first battle, and maybe the second too, but these defeats will teach him the harsh lessons he needs to one day become king. Finally, after years of struggle, the moment of glory comes. The decisive battle ends in a glorious victory, and he becomes the new king of the savannah. But things aren't always so simple. The lionesses have their own rules, and as a new king, he's not exactly on their VIP list. His mission now is to dominate them and prove he deserves to be their leader. If he's strong and majestic, with a roar that shakes the ground, the lionesses might accept him as their new king. But if he fails to show his strength, he may be chased off once more, and this time, it could be fatal. At times, the pressure may drive him to commit terrible acts, such as cannibalism or even attacking the lionesses. But as a true king, he must show everyone that he can rule with an iron paw. If he fails, he'll find himself hunted by the lionesses, forced to flee with his tail between his legs, trying to save his life. And this is where our little lion story begins. Simba Jr. Not the famous Disney Simba, but a real lion raised in the Botswana savannah. From a young age, Simba Jr. knew that a lion's life was nothing but a series of harsh trials. He grew up in a world like a savage reality show, where his strength and willpower were tested every single day. His story is one of survival and of earning his rightful place as king. A story that takes us deep into the heart of the lion's world, where only the strong survive and glory belongs to those who dare to challenge fate. In 2018, Simba Jr. was born into a pride deep in the heart of the savannah, where life was a battle for survival from day one. Of all the male cubs born alongside him, only two survived, Simba Jr. and his brother. But luck wasn't on his brother's side. He lost his life early on after leaving the pride in search of his own territory and getting into a bloody fight with other lions. Simba Jr., however, chose a different path, one filled with challenges, but he was determined to succeed. From his earliest days, Simba Jr. was closely watched. He spent his cubhood hiding from hungry hyenas, enduring hunger, and running from older lions who saw him as a threat. But Simba never gave up. He chose to fight and show his strength rather than be labeled the weak one. In the lion world, weakness means death. A pride of lions is a complex system. where every member has a role. At the top stands the dominant male, the king, who protects the territory and ensures his genes are passed on. Next are the lionesses, who do the hunting and care for the cubs. The cubs themselves must simply survive in a world full of internal and external threats. But for a male lion to become dominant, he must challenge and kill the current leader in a fierce, often bloody battle. These fights reveal the true power of these magnificent creatures. When a new lion takes over, everything changes drastically. The first thing the new male does is kill the cubs of the previous leader, ensuring his own genes dominate instead. It's a cruel law, but the law of the unforgiving Savannah. And here is where Simba Jr. made his first big mistake. In trying to assert his dominance, he began eliminating the previous leader's cubs. But he didn't anticipate the reaction of the lionesses, who turned out to be far more aggressive than expected. Usually, this behavior leads to the lionesses submitting out of fear to the new male. But in Simba Jr.'s pride, things were different. These lionesses were some of the fiercest hunters in the region, and they had no intention of giving in easily. Instead, the angry lionesses united against Simba Jr. in a swift and brutal rebellion. They attacked him with force and coordination he hadn't expected, especially since he was still recovering from his battle with the previous alpha. Simba Jr. ended up being expelled from the pride before he could even claim his place or mate with any of the lionesses. But Simba Jr. wasn't the type to give up easily. Despite being cast out, he was determined to reclaim the pride. He realized that to survive and thrive in the savannah, he would need to show not only strength, but intelligence and patience as well. He retreated far enough to recover from his wounds, but stayed close enough to keep a watchful eye on the pride. He began planning his return, knowing this time his tactics had to be different. He needed to show the lionesses that he was not only strong, but wise enough to lead. And so, Simba Jr. began a new journey, determined to earn his rightful place in the pride. Simba Jr.'s story wasn't over. He was determined to be accepted and was willing to do anything to prove he deserved to be king. That is the power of determination, and perhaps a bit of stubbornness. So, after his exile, the pride remained without a dominant male, but the savannah has its own way of restoring order. By 2024, with no male leader, the lionesses became the true rulers of the pride, taking charge of hunting and protecting the cubs. In this matriarchal system, the wisdom and strength of the females ensured the group's survival. But Simba Jr., still unwilling to give up on his dream of leadership, kept watching closely, waiting for the perfect moment to return. Simba Jr. tried approaching the pride several times, but the lionesses were always on high alert. During one attempt, the females met him with ferocity, resulting in an uneven clash. Things didn't go as Simba had hoped. He walked away with a few new scars, yet his determination never wavered. In the midst of this, a new threat emerged. Two young nomadic lions, strong and experienced in the savannah's brutal politics, arrived searching for a pride to conquer. Seeing the pride without a dominant male, they saw a golden opportunity. They advanced with confidence, knowing this might be their chance to assert dominance. But Simba Jr., always vigilant, spotted the intruders and immediately realized his dream was in danger. If the lionesses accepted the newcomers, he'd lose any chance of leading the pride. Determined to protect his future, Simba Jr. devised a clever plan. He waited for the right moment, and when one of the nomads was isolated, he launched a precise ambush using the cunning he had developed over the years. With a mix of brute strength and intelligence, Simba Jr. took down the lone nomad, using surprise to neutralize the threat. But the danger wasn't over. The second nomadic lion, realizing his companion's absence, moved in to claim dominance. When the lionesses tried to fight him off, he unleashed deadly force in a vicious battle, killing one lioness and spreading fear among the others. With the lionesses too weak to resist, he began eliminating the cubs and young lions to ensure only his bloodline would continue. Simba Jr. couldn't stand by and watch his chance at leadership be destroyed. With a roar that echoed through the savannah, he stepped forward to confront the nomad. This was his last chance. He knew he had to win, not only to secure his role as leader, but to protect the pride he had sworn to lead. The clash between Simba Jr. and the invading lion began. It was a savage battle that would decide the pride's fate. The lionesses, once afraid of Simba, now watched carefully, knowing the outcome would affect them all. Simba Jr., aware this was his final shot, summoned every ounce of strength and cunning he had. With a decisive strike, Simba Jr. brought the nomad down, seizing his rival's neck with agility and power. Then he stood exhausted over the fallen lion, roaring as his victory echoed through the savannah. He had finally earned his place, but at a steep cost. Bloodied and battered, the lionesses who once attacked him now looked on with respect. They had witnessed his courage and determination to protect the pride from a true threat. In the days following the epic battle, Simba Jr. remained injured, weak but determined to recover. And then something surprising happened. The lionesses, once hostile, began hunting and bringing food to him, as if thanking him for his bravery and sacrifice. It was a rare moment in the lion world, a gesture of gratitude from females to a male who had fought for them. Over time, Simba Jr. regained his strength. The same lionesses who once rejected him now accepted him as their new king. In an extraordinary decision, they chose not to kill the few remaining cubs of the former leader. Instead, they waited until the cubs grew and the lionesses were ready to mate again. Usually, when lionesses are cubless, they enter estrus quickly, but since some cubs had survived, it took a few more weeks before Simba Jr. was officially accepted as the dominant male. Finally, after all the trials and suffering, Simba Jr. was crowned king of the pride. He had earned his rightful place, becoming a respected leader the lionesses trusted. Under his rule, the pride flourished and reached a rare harmony where each member had a role and purpose. Simba Jr., once a weak cub fleeing from hyenas and older lions, had become a fair and powerful ruler. His journey was filled with hardships that forged him into the leader he became. He proved that life in the savannah, though brutal, can be full of surprises and moments of glory. Simba Jr. shows us that no matter how great the challenges, perseverance and resilience can lead to greatness. But as we said in the beginning, becoming king is never easy. The challenges never end. And so Simba Jr. continues to protect his territory and pride from other lions in a daily battle for survival. Now 6 years old and enjoying a period of relative peace, the question remains, how long will this peace last? Because in the savannah, nothing is guaranteed. Every day is a new battle.